Hello guys, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whichever time it is, wherever you are, whichever place you are. Of course, this is the Baron's Corner, and today these are the words: Pasos, Kotos, Vista, Lager. Those are the words. I know you don't get it, but those are the words. I host the Honorable Moses Rono, the president of St. Paul's University, and as you can see, we're setting the bar so high, even with the language itself. Yeah. Mr. President, karibu sana. This is the Baron's Corner.
Thank you very much.
Today I don't want to take time to introduce you because maybe I don't have the capacity to give you a profile, my brother. And it's really an honor and privilege that you found time with us in your office to share a bit about your story, your journey, and getting into the helm of St. Paul's University. Mr. President, you know, there are universities in Kenya are not more than, they're not so many, they're countable.
Yeah.
And amongst those universities in the old Republic of Kenya, in one of those big universities, you are the president. How does it feel, Mr. President?
Well, it's so humbling. It's so humbling because now leadership is something that for me is a lifestyle. And if leadership is a lifestyle, then getting such an opportunity or a responsibility to lead is like a continuation of who I am.
Yeah, because it's part of you. It's a life.
It's a lifestyle.
Wow. I wonder which is your lifestyle, brother out there. But now these are the words that I started with. Pasos, Kotos, Vista, Lager. That is what you walk around with. That is what everywhere, if someone looks for you in any social media account, those are the words he or she will find. And those are the words I found in your WhatsApp about. And maybe I wondered, what does this mean, Mr. President?
A wise man said that a man or a leader is somebody with a vision. And this vision is the one he or she uses to take the people to where he or she wants them to be. And so Pasokoto Vista Lager is simply short steps but greater vision.
Short steps but greater vision. I just realized I didn't even pronounce it the right way. But I realized you're good.
So we need to get to a point where we feel like this is the place where we are meant to be. And probably if you read, I love reading books because somebody said that a leader is a reader. And in one of the books I've read is that, you know, you need to have a passion and a purpose. And that is driven by, you know, the vision that you have for people, where you want to take them, where you feel like this is where they ought to be.
So kind of in your life, you say leadership is your lifestyle.
It's my
lifestyle. As being your lifestyle, you have a vision, you have a plan, you're looking at the future. How does the future look like, Mr. President?
Well, the future is luminous.
The future is luminous. This guy, Mr. President, I was going through, looking at your story back then, maybe looking for you here and there, and I realized there's something that really stands out. That is the M-O-I, that is Moi, the word Moi, and you know, I was tempted to think that maybe there's someone from the you know, the famous royal family who is out here back in the ground doing big things, because you know, right now, the Moi family they are kind of cool right now in terms of politics, but I was thinking maybe this is a new fresh blood. and stepping into your office today, I saw you walking around with a rungu, and you know, the last time I saw rungu is when I was born, when Moi was the president. Yeah, it's great having you. So Mr. President, before I talk a lot, let's do your profile. Who are you?
Well, I'm a simple guy. I can say that. I am a student at St. Paul's University, pursuing Bachelor of Science in Computer Science and software engineer, which I don't know if I will practice because of the direction and the turn of events that my life is taking of late. But I'm also a social entrepreneur. I love graphics design because it sparks my creativity. I also love, I own a small business. I like to call it small.
Because you're simple.
I'm a simple guy. It deals with branding, photography, videography, and stuff, just to get your business out there. And that is what
so you're doing something out there that actually channels something to your pocket.
Yeah, beyond classroom.
You're doing something
must
else.
Have something.
Wow, that's great. Great. You're not just a man with a vision who walks around with leadership, but you're a man who makes sure that you sustain that leadership. So you run the Rono graphics.
Yeah.
Sounds sounds how do I call it? Sounds huge. Like the name Rono Graphics, it sounds huge, and that's so good. So you run the Rono Graphics. Also, you're an IT student.
Yeah, I'm an IT
So you are an expert when it comes to software.
Software, website development. That's my.
That is your area.
Yeah.
But I know now. Where did you come up with this name, Moi? You working out with Arungu? Maybe tell people why exactly are you working around with Arungu?
Yeah. Well, from where I come from, or my community, this is very symbolic. This is a symbol of authority, or power, or a point of leadership, because now you are directing people. It's like used for the Maasai community. They can say now when a man is using this, or a leader, and you are pointing towards this, now you are directing people to that. And just to clear the air, I'm not related to the royal family.
You're not from the royal family.
I'm not. A royal family will come from me.
Amen.
So I am not related to the Moi family, but I come from those sides. And the Moi that I walk around with, that's an acronym for man of influence, because leadership is all about influence. Whatever position you are in, even to the least, there is a level of influence that you command, and therefore you are a leader at that particular space. And so a man of influence, that is who I am.
That is who you are, a man of influence. At this age, Mr. President, you already have a brand name. You're already called a man of influence. At this age, you're the president of the university. The future is truly luminous. And before we get to the future or the present, because the present is already bright and luminous, we can't. I don't really know if I have the sight to look at the future, because
it's too bright.
It's too bright, man. But now, before we get there, let's go down to you growing up. Well, getting to this place, your journey. Someone out there wants to listen to you. They want to be inspired. How did this guy get here? How did this guy get to university? You know, when we were getting into the university, we used to see leaders in universities, and we thought, now these are well-connected guys. They are sponsored by huge politicians. But here you are, a simple guy, as you call yourself, a man of influence. You're the president. Before we get here, where did you start from?
Well, I come from a very small village in Eldamaravi in Baringo County, and that is where I've grown up. Family of 7. I am the 5th born son, and growing up, I think that is where I started. We have a small farm, and I used to herd sheep.
So you grew up in the village?
Yeah, I grew up in the village. I'm a village guy.
That's where men are built.
That's where we are built. I read a quote that it's hardship, or it's the experience that you go through that builds or shapes your perseverance and resilience in life. So
that is it actually. So you grew up in Eldamaravi. Your village?
Kabunyon, it's Kabunyon.
Wow. I just wanted to confirm that you actually grew up in a village. Now, growing up, how was life?
Well, life, I'm an introvert. So life for me, you know, being the 5th born son, and then you get time. I can actually flourish as an introvert, because out of our extended family, our nuclear, you just flow. Like you can be there seated in a place. And
nobody
even notices that.
Because there are someone to be sent here and there. There's someone else.
There's someone else to.
Yeah, I know, I get it.
But as I mentioned, we have a farm. And in that farm, we used to keep sheep. And so at a very young age, that's how I started. Somebody a few weeks ago reminded me that of how I used to herd those sheep.
So it's making me also realize that everything is significant, and maybe we can relate that. I'm a Christian, by the way, and I can relate that to the fact that Jesus used to just lead the sheep. We are the sheep, and there you are leading the sheep. Now, in this case, maybe you can say you're actually a leader.
That's actually even from the Bible as well. David.
Exactly.
It's probably a pointer, or somebody also mentioned the same the other day, reminding me of how it started, and I think that is where the journey started. Getting into kindergarten. From there, now proceeding, I went to Eldamarvin Primary after Elite Academy, and then from there.
Before we get out of Elite Academy, I think there is something that I've really gotten out of that. The fact that you, growing up there, you were doing ordinary things, like any ordinary African child.
As I said, I'm a simple one.
Yes. And I love that. And maybe how was your relationship with maybe your family and neighbors, and how was it?
Well, being an introvert or a silent kid,
yes,
you get along with people. One, because you don't talk much, so people don't know like what's your weakness. You don't quarrel with people, so you actually
live a peaceful
maintain your cool, keep your cool, and get to talk to people once in a while. So people find it it's not the most relatable person, but at least you don't get to quarrel with people.
Yeah,
and then
you don't brush
take your time to really understand the people and know when to talk.
So you're this guy who maybe was alone most of the time, doing your own stuff.
I prefer to say
that. Now getting into Eldamarvin Primary and moving on to high school. So you passed your primary school.
Yeah, I did.
You studied hard. Or it was just a life. It was
it's
life
a product
happened.
of grace. A product of grace. But
I don't want us to stay there so long, because I know, Mr. President, you're a great man, and your greatness grows as you go up the ladder. Getting into high school, where did you go to high school?
I went to the Lenana school.
Wow. Just stop there.
I went to the Lenana school.
Lenana school always have a name. What do we call them?
We are Chenjerians.
Chenjerians.
Yeah,
that's the name. So you went to Lenana school?
I went to Lenana school. I think that is from 2017. 2017.
How was it moving from Eldamarvin Primary to Lenana School? You know, so many people out there in the village want to be in these big schools: Alliance, Lenana School, Nairobi School, Kanga School, Maranda School, all those big schools.
Well, Lenana is Lenana. Lenana is big, and so adjusting from primary to high school was a bit,
from Baringo now to Nairobi.
From Baringo, the way people, the notion people have about Baringo, and then now you're getting to Nairobi. I think one of the sentiments that I cannot forget is one of my teacher, the very first day, he's saying that you guys should be very lucky. There are some people in Baringo who studied under a tree, and I'm like,
oh my God, I come from Baringo.
I studied in a very nice school, nice environment, but if this is idea, then I'm not coming from Baringo.
So actually the image that people are having out here about Baringo and these northeastern counties is so different from what is really happening in the ground.
But we're looking forward to changing the narrative.
We will come to that. That is why I talked about that. And Apo Mele, when we continue this interview, we'll talk about Baringo. We'll talk about that, the banditry. Baringo is bleeding. I've seen you moving around. We'll talk about that, Mr. President. But before we get there, now you get into Lenana School. What's that one thing you got out of Lenana School? You know, Lenana is next to what do you call them? Ngongo. Posh places. You're next to power, next to money. How was it? What was the influence? Did it have an impact on you?
I think from the very first day when you are setting your foot in Lenana School, you are challenged that by the time your 4 years is done, you must get out as a different person. And so this challenge lives with you every step that you take. And one thing that we all, let me speak for myself. One thing that I got from Lenana is actually our anthem, or a line that says, "In pride we ride, with rules abide," and our motto as well, "Nothing but the best." That in everything that you do, just give it your best and be nothing but the best. Because that's
that plays nothing but the best. A friend of mine the other day, I wrote somewhere that what did I write? Settling for nothing but the best, and he was like, "Bro, that is Lenana stuff."
That's our thing.
Someone actually told me that.
It's nice that you guys are copying from Lenana.
Actually, it was my own, and someone from Lenana just related to that stuff. But that is so great. Now, from Lenana School, maybe we can say that that's the place that set you, and now you being a leader, it set you apart, build your leadership skills.
Well, a wise man said that exposure will save you from being impressed by nonsense. And I think now Lenana exposed me. And far from academics, you know, Lenana builds people to be, marketed Lenana. It builds people to be all-rounded. And so if, apart from academics, apart from the leadership skills, is that, you know, exposure. Like, there is more to life, there is more to everything that we do, and there's nothing new, and so we just need to have the resilience to continue, but above all, just don't be impressed by nonsense.
Don't be impressed by nonsense. That is the statement from Lenana School. We get out of Lenana School, you get to campus, to St. Paul's University, not just not just as a student, but now you've risen to become the president. How was it? How was the journey getting into Lenana School, deciding that now this is the school, not Lenana, sorry, but St. Paul's University, deciding this is the school, and now coming in, pursuing your degree as an IT student in the first place? Did you want to pursue that?
Well, not really, but I am here. But after finishing high school, there is that I had grown, I had been exposed so much, and I knew what I wanted in life, that I really need to work my way, and you know, there's the normally the language of the streets, escape the matrix. So, but you know, you want, you know where you want to be a great person, but you really don't know how to get there. But what you can do instead of, there's this analogy of a very great step or a staircase, that instead of thinking about the distance between the first or the lowest to the highest, just think about the distance between the first step and the next step. And that is what I did. I did not have a clear plan of that where I want to go, but I had an idea that I just need to take the first step.
You needed to be great by taking the first step. And there is something I really love about you, Mr. President. The fact that as you read your books, you really grasp this knowledge as it is from the books, and you share it. And that is leadership in itself. Now, getting to St. Paul's University, settling in, and how was life? Now, as a comrade, as a normal comrade, how was life? You know, life is so hard for so many comrades out here. So many people are sleeping hungry out here. They don't have the money to sustain themselves. How did you sustain yourself to a point that you could finance a campaign to run for president?
Well, I think I was challenged the first week after joining campus. I was very young. You should see my photos of after high school.
Now in Form 1, in
that's
first year.
But I was challenged by one of my relatives, and he told me that as you are going into campus, just be there, go study, but at the same time keep your eyes out there, be on the lookout for opportunities. And he gave me this example of the red car theory. The red car theory is this boss tells the employees how many, he asked the employees one day that how many red cars did you spot on your way to work, and all of them said none. And apparently there are very many red cars. And the following day they were told, for every red car that you spot, I'm going to give you $1. And so the next morning they came and actually spotted quite a number of
because now they were keen. They
were
the money
to get to the dollar.
And
so this is an analogy for you know, be on the lookout for opportunities. And so I just needed to get a skill and capitalize on the skill, and so I started my
at that point
business.
That is where Rono Graphics comes in.
Rono Graphics
but before we go to Rono Graphics and what you do in other fields, let's talk about the politics. When did you decide now today I want to vie to become the president of St. Paul?
Well, that's a very long journey, but I don't think it started with the presidency or like when I set foot in St. Paul's University that I knew one day I'm going to become the president. I just wanted to be in and out, focus on business, focus on building my brand as a person. But it led me to, I think life had another idea of
it was God's plan.
And God's plan. And so I started with the student chaplain. That's an equivalent of a C.E.O chair in other institution. And I wasn't really into politics. I just wanted to be a businessman. You know, the power.
The power.
They say power lies in
the people that the behind the scenes guys.
Behind the scenes guy. But now once I started, I went into the first time vying for the students chaplain, and I won, and it feels nice. It feels nice to win. So make sure you win once.
Yeah.
It felt nice.
We will try the politics. Yeah.
It felt nice, and but I knew from then, you know, once you've won, then there is that thing of now you need to deliver. You promised people, and now you need to deliver. And how do you start delivering?
Yes,
the process begins. And by the grace of God, we did deliver. As a student chaplain, there is a lot that we were able to achieve, starting from bringing men together, and that is when I started working.
That is now you're working in the church now.
Yeah, that's working in the church. But now our idea of now service to God and humanity was that we need to go beyond the pulpit and focus on the community, focus on social entrepreneurship. Yet in church, how does the church become solutions providers to in the business industry?
Yeah, not just people coming and praying and going.
Now
real solutions.
The church can also provide solutions of leadership, and that is where we focused on, and we went from Raw Summit
to talk about that. You know, recently people have been focusing so much on the female, the girls, and the stuff. But I've heard you mention something to do with men over there. Yeah, talk about that.
So that started with an event we did, a summit, Raw Summit, in conjunction with Youth Impact. And Raw Summit was meant to bring men together to the point of realizing, driven from scripture, that after God created everything, He gave authority to man so that the man can name. You know, and so we were in the business of authoritating or being in a position to name. And so we just wanted to bring back the man, or getting back to the point of you are the man, and what does it mean to be a man?
So you brought all the gentlemen in St. Paul's University.
Gentlemen together, not only from St. Paul's, it was open, we invited people, people came, and we really talked about great things. Our guest was Robert Burale and Pastor Pete Karaoke of Rock Assemblies, and what we were talking
those are
about,
great men, and you are organizing it now as chaplain.
Yeah, as a chaplain. You know, it's go
big
or go home.
Yeah.
Then it was a turn, because now we are at the point of, as a man, basically you are a leader.
Yes.
You must lead from the basic of it in your life, and then to your family and to the society.
Now to the society.
So you need to take up your space.
Yes.
Or role in the society. Not being chauvinistic or anything, but just providing leadership that you are called to provide. And as I said earlier,
I love that. Taking your space.
Yeah, take your space.
Now, going down to now your university, now your plans as Mr. President. I know there are new policies that you want to bring in. I've seen there are so many people who have been in power already, and there's some new things you want to bring to St. Paul's University. What are those things? And like, what are your exact plans now, your policies, what you're coming into office to do for the people, for the students, for the comrades of St. Paul's University?
Well, I think I only have 1 year.
Yeah.
And that 1 year is actually, we are talking about less than 11 months. Because the last month, or probably the January, April semester, we are planning elections. So whatever I have to do, I have to compress within those within the short period. And I think now the best, or the wisdom of navigating this space is that I just need to simply push the policies that have already been mentioned in the Senate or in the Council. Because now starting or pushing a new agenda sometimes becomes hectic. But we have programs, for example, in partnership with cafeteria to provide food to a few comrades. Hashtag manze, watu wasiname. And the policies that were in place, for example, now the renovation of the field, which is underway. We have the gates to provide biometric identification. We also have things to do with academics, pushing for now how do we minimize the number of people who are missing their marks, you know, through the various offices. For example, the academics through the sports, or the academics office, the sports through the co-curricular guy, and also these other spaces. But majorly we are talking about partnership, and I love a leadership that everyone gets an opportunity to lead. That apart from what I bring to the table, what are you bringing to the table as a common comrade?
Yeah, Mr. President, as a common comrade, they have their issues. What is that one thing that you think you identified when you are running for office that is a problem here at St. Paul's University? That big problem you think is a problem here?
Well, there are issues to deal with now, student welfare, and that is, for example, now how they are living, their security out there, how sustainable is where they live, how they eat and stuff. And so programs that touch their lives, apart from academics, we are talking about, because it's an academic institution, the issues of missing marks, the issues to do with now people in the hostel feel like we need value for our money. We need proper lighting, we need our classrooms to be well furnished, and stuff. The infrastructure around the institution. And so through the Quality Assurance Office, which is under the Secretary General, we push for things to do with renovation of our areas of learning, lighting to be fit, water adequate.
Mr. President, now doing all these things, we've really talked about your plans, the policies you're bringing in, the things you are running, you're planning to do within these few months that you are in office. And now getting out of St. Paul's, I know you're not just a St. Paul's person, you are someone who is beyond St. Paul's. You're someone out there we expect to see somewhere back home now. What are your plans, maybe going beyond St. Paul's in this political seat? What are your plans? You have said leadership is your lifestyle. Are you taking this lifestyle out of St. Paul's beyond next year?
Well, it's I never had a plan of getting to become the president of St. Paul's University.
Yes.
But now more than ever, I'm certain that there is a space in leadership which we need to take up. As I've said, that leadership is a lifestyle to me. And so if it's a lifestyle, then we expect that we are going to be in spaces of leadership, whether elected or not, or just maybe to influence people around our community. Considering where I come from, we need to have a lot of people taking up leadership responsibilities, from their own lives to initiatives that bring the youths together and empower the young people to be in a position to provide solutions for the future.
On that providing solution, at that point, Mr. President, we got down to your place. You come from Baringo, and Baringo has been experiencing issues to do with banditry. People know Baringo as this place. The mindset that people have about Baringo. You grew up there. Maybe what is your take about Baringo, the banditry, and as a young person, what will you want your kid, when maybe years to come, to experience? Will you want him to have the same Baringo you are having?
Well, I was fortunate enough. I'm fortunate enough to come from the side of Baringo, where it's very peaceful. We are experiencing a bit of economic development. But again, there is a place that we need, or the vision that we have for the people to go beyond. And so I'll not like the future. They say we are the future, but I think we are the current leaders. So the future,
we are here already.
Our kings, I believe, what the kind of vision that we have for Baringo County is a place where everyone can be proud to say they come from Baringo. Not many of us are going to be very proud of Baringo based on what everyone
knows out here.
That people have of banditry. Probably people think I know how to hold a gun.
They think you're a bandit, maybe.
I'm not a bandit. I don't even know how to hold a gun. But now there is a place that we need to get to. The place where everyone will feel proud of this space. And we can only get there if we are all united in providing solutions for the kind of space that we want. They say that if you want if this is a vision of Baringo that you have, then there is something that you need to do for that. And what I can do is to be the solution provider to the problems that are there
in Baringo. Now, how are you planning to do that? Maybe have you started engaging with your fellow youths? I know you're a leader, and not just here in St. Paul, but back home. Have you started engaging the youths over there? I've seen hashtags Baringo is bleeding, young students moving around the streets of Nairobi trying to maybe push the government to do better. Maybe are you joining these initiatives? And if you're joining them, or maybe what's your perspective of it? What's your plan? Are you thinking of maybe doing something on your own capacity as the president of St. Paul's?
Well, I believe we can solve it easily by now we are the young people, and most of the bandits are actually young. From a very young age you are trained into banditry. And if we can become the change, we can become the advocates of change. The young people that you're probably seeing, some frauds, some are frauds, some are there to look for money.
I know.
But what we can do, or what I am currently doing, is just mobilizing the young people and telling them that, there is something beyond this. If you don't have anything else to do, like for example the drug campaign and stuff, that if you don't have anything to do, then in being idle, you find yourself probably engaging in other activities. And so if we are in a position to advocate for other things, like for example talents, that we can solve banditry through talent. Let us engage in tournaments that bring people together and get connections to the right spaces. If we are providing the challenge of job opportunities is very rampant around the country, and Baringo not left out. But if we are in a position to bring these people together and we come up with meaningful projects, like Baringo is big, so we can engage in farming. Just so that we can get to these people. But I believe those people that I don't come from those sides of banditry, so I don't have a lot of experience on how they work. But I have met some young people from those sides who are saying, because they have gone to school, because they have been exposed to life beyond banditry, then they're in a position to say that, Manze, I can leave banditry, I can get education. So if we get more people who are getting into spaces of influence and telling them that beyond banditry, there is another life. We don't have to be fighting for this. They are fighting for land, they are fighting for cattle, they are fighting, but that is ancient. But now expose them to
better things.
There are better things. I know problems now people are fighting probably for money. Those are, but for the banditry, that is what they consider a source of wealth.
Mr. President, allow me cut you right there. We've talked exhaustively about that, and I've seen the proposals you've given, and I believe maybe one day when you're a leader out of St. Paul's, you may be able to find a way to implement them. Maybe now we get out of that, and so many young people out here are struggling financially. The comrades are struggling, and I've heard you run the Rono graphics. That's the one thing that really supports you. What was that one thing that made you to venture into a side hustle that sustained you over the years, and maybe not just depend on your parents all through?
I think a quote that a boy becomes a man once he realizes that nobody is coming to serve you. And so at a point of I'm a man, and then you're like, now who is a man? What am I supposed to do from now on? Then now you are at a point of, now your mind begins to shift, and you're thinking about, how do I provide for myself? How do I start that burden of depending I need to be in a space where I can not only provide for myself, but also for probably retiring my parents and stuff. So you are growing to that space of I really need to grow up.
It's about time I start giving back and not continue asking people.
Get things done. And so that one, I think that is the main thing that pushed me to going beyond academics and just try to get the little. I have skills in photography, skills in graphics, and then that is what I just wanted to capitalize on my soft skills.
I think what you're saying, Mr. President, is that at some point when these young people get into university, it's about time they realize it's time for them to depend on themselves and find something out there. I hope you're listening, guys.
But it's when somebody advised me that don't only stick your nose in the books, or don't be focused so much on the academics. Get both papers. That's what I was told.
Because of just trying to be a jack of all trades, maybe. Mr. President, I know we've talked really about a lot of things, all these things that you do, the things you engage in politics, your personal life growing up, or maybe your aspiration for the future. And Mr. President, maybe you could look at this camera and talk to that youth out there, talk to that St. Paul comrade, tell them something.
Well, hii ndo kamera nyumbani. Well, as a young person, there is a lot of questions about who am I meant to be, where is my space, what, like I grew up knowing that as an adult, probably by the time I get to the age of 20, 22, 23, that I'll have figured my life out. But it's okay not to know what the future holds. It's okay not to be in a position of control over your lives. But one thing that you should know is that take it a step at a time. There's one of my favorite story is that of a horse and a fox, and they were in a very dark forest, and the horse was speaking to the fox, and the fox was like, "It is too dark. I cannot see where I'm headed." And the horse was like, "Do you see the step in front of you?" And he said yes. And after that, he told him, "Just take the next step. There might be a lot of darkness ahead. There might be a lot of uncertainties ahead. But the moment you take that first step, it becomes easier for you to get to where you want to head." And as a young person, just believe that each and every one of us, we have a place in the society. We have a space that we can own up and be the masters of that space. We were not all meant to be politicians. We were not all meant to be teachers. We were not all meant to be CEOs or probably a space of influence. But whichever space that you're going to find yourself in, just know that is where God wanted you to be, and that is where you should own that space and be the master of that. But don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about anything. Just believe that you are meant to be at that place at that particular time, and you are the solution to the problems that are there at that current point.
Oh my God. Oh guys, this has been amazing. This has been the man of influence. That is Honorable Moses Rono, the president of St. Paul's University. And guys, I'm so much inspired. The story, and I look at a man who has a future, has something great happening. The words are Pasos, Kotos, Vista, Lager. And apart from that, guys, I think you're inspired by the fact that he says it's okay when it's too much. When it's against all odds, pause, and it's okay. And you can actually thrive in your own space. That has been the president of St. Paul's, a great guy to watch out, going into the future. And this has been the Baron's Corner. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. Continue to subscribe to the Legacy Media Official. Continue to watch our shows and our interviews. Thank you. Till next time, this has been the Baron's Corner. Nawapenda.